time of recording, the Oscars are currently going down, and frankly, I don't care. I don't know who's won right now. All I know is what is going to be coming out of the event, and it's Jimmy Kimmel being excessively cringe. But did we really need another award show to really drive home that point? But again, we just need to go ahead and put on that same cap. Oh, just imagine if the sexes were reversed on this one. It's like, you don't even really need to do that, because this has been cringe regardless. Jimmy Kimmel makes a very awkward quip about Robert Downey Jr.'s drug use drug use, right? Leaving actor fuming. Oh, he wasn't really fuming in so much as he handled an offhanded remark, an already rehearsed joke, because none of these jokes that anybody that goes up on that stage says hasn't already gone through writer after writer, rehearsal after rehearsal. So RDJ handled it about as well as you possibly can for a joke made at your own expense that you don't necessarily find all that funny, because, well, it's not that funny. It's Jimmy Kimmel. Why do I have to be so redundant? And then bringing a naked John Cena out on stage? Again, just imagine if that was it's like, maybe you would have actually got some ratings for this disaster, but I would imagine the way that it's being covered, and the fact that you got the Barbenheimer phenomenon also driving the award show, it's probably going to do decently well in the ratings, but nowhere near the halcyon days of the early 2000s, late 90s, when it was challenging the Super Bowl for being the most watched event on domestic television. I think that ship has thoroughly sailed. But let's get through some of this debauchery before we realize that you've got all of Hollywood's brightest stars in one place is to celebrate an industry that's on death's door. Jimmy Kimmel roasted Robert Downey Jr.'s manhood and past drug use. Why do you gotta, what's the point of a guy talking about dick? It's like, whatever, man. Okay. The host, 56, returning for a fourth time. Really? I knew that he's hosted it before, but this isn't like Billy Crystal or Steve Martin, you know, the people who used to host the show that people would look forward to have hosting the show. But Kimmel, because everybody else just doesn't like the fact that you can't even tell any edgy jokes. Jimmy Kimmel's the only one who's willing to cash the check. Remember when people used to think he was edgy? Anyways, DJ 58, who is nominated for Best Supporting Actor, chances are he's probably going to end up winning. I don't know. Like I said, it's well before any of the significant awards get awarded on the evening when I'm recording this. You guys will know by the morning. Hell, by the time that you see this, you're going to have the full list. I might go through it if there's anything exceptionally interesting. Like I said, this opening monologue and this creepy sketch, that's about the only thing that's been interesting so far. He said, Robert Downey Jr., one of the highest points of his career. But Robert has been, as RDJ pointed to his face, leading Kimmel to add, was that too on the nose or a drug motion you made? Yeah, RDJ sitting in the audience, everybody else laughs, and he just goes, a bit on the nose, pal. Okay, he just points at his nose, like, rolls his eyes. Okay, like, y'all remember the slap from, what is that, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? 2 years ago, I think, at this point in time. Like, if Jada just could have simply taken the well-rehearsed joke from Chris Rock, well, we wouldn't be stuck with Robert Downey Jr. With Robert Downey Jr. being the butt end of this stuff. Wow, imagine that, a prominent straight white male instead of an oversensitive black woman gets to be the butt of the joke now going forward. Look forward to already the weekend delivery by these hosts, only specifically now delving directly in one direction. Look at him. He's so handsome. Going back to what Kimmel is saying, it's like, oh my God. Is this the Oscars or the GLAAD Awards? Look at him. He's so handsome, so talented. He's won every award there is to win. Yes, for this very role that he's up for a nomination for right tonight. Is that an acceptance speech in your pocket, or do you just have a very rectangular paint? What the? Yeah, the joke fell flat. Okay, I can understand how that's supposed to be a joke. That's... you could... Like, a lot of comedy, I would say a disproportionate amount of it is about timing and delivery. I read the words and I don't see how that could ever be funny outside of people just who think that the word poop is hilarious. They might find that funny. Holy crap, yeah, the joke fell flat. Yes, as Kimmel slammed the bottom of the barrel jokes about substance abuse. Downey Jr. previously spent time behind bars in 1999 before reviving his career with Iron Man, like that casting. I remember it. We've talked about it ad nauseum, but now's not the time for Marvel. But that's how you handle a joke at your expense. It's like, I'm going to win an award tonight. I don't really care what some late night hack has to say about this. Okay. Oh, you want to go into drug abuse? Oh, whoop-de-doo. Okay, a bit on the nose, pal. You're supposed to be a comedian, but you've exchanged that credit for mainstream acceptance a long time ago. So yeah, okay, I'm riding high on this one. And then, what's the context of this? Okay, like this isn't much different than Cena working at WWE house show, but of course his jorts go a little bit further down his quads. But what? Okay, like what are we doing? Okay, what's the stuff about Cena? Okay, Kimmel said at the 46th Academy Awards in 1974, David Ivan was introducing Elizabeth Taylor when a nude man, a streaker, ran across the stage. Which can you imagine if a nude man ran across? Oh my God! You telegraph your joke. Holy shit, man! I'm glad I didn't watch this. I said, can you imagine if a nude man ran? Okay, then Cena said backstage, psst, Jimmy, come here. Kimmel said, I can't come here. I can't come there. Do the thing. Excuse me for a second. Okay, I changed my... Oh my God, this is just cringe reading a transcript of this. Holy crap. I don't feel right about this. This is an elegant evening. Yeah. Kimmel said, you wrestle naked, why not? Cena said, I don't wrestle naked, I wrestle in jorts. Oh my God. Oh, oof. I got full body douche chills on that one. That's really bad. That is okay. Joe Coy making offhanded remarks about Taylor Swift being the focus of the NFL season. That looks like Richard Pryor in the 70s compared to this nonsense. Holy Christ, man. But meanwhile, while these gaggle of unexceptional idiots congregate around Los Angeles, what's the rest of the industry up to? Okay, you got Kung Fu Panda 4 dethroning Dune 2, which was supposed to be one of the biggest tentpole movies out there the entire year, and here we are, a week removed from the opening weekend, and well, I'm not going to say its second weekend performance is bad, because it isn't. We'll get into the numbers. That's far more what I was anticipating making this video about. It's just I didn't anticipate the weapons grade cringe that Jimmy Kimmel would provide, but why would I go ahead and discount the talents of Jimmy Kimmel in that specific vocation? But yeah, Kung Fu Panda 4 tops box office with $58 million opening weekend. Good for them. Universal Pictures prepared for a big night at the Academy Awards with Oppenheimer. The studio also celebrated the #1 debut of Kung Fu Panda 4, which collected $58.3 million domestic theaters over the weekend. According to the estimates on Sunday, Kung Fu Panda 4 is the first film in DreamWorks animation franchise since the third installment in 2016. Wow, it's been 6 years. Oh boy, it's not 2022 anymore. That was 8 years ago. Wow. Time flies, huh? Got off to a better start than all but the original in 2008. That's kind of crazy to think about it, and to just go ahead and put the comparison hat on for a second. You have Universal DreamWorks putting out the 4th iteration in the franchise, and it's doing better than the subsequent sequels. Take a look at what Disney does, and when was the last time they released an animated feature that turned a profit? Joke's on you, it's been a long time. But actually had a growth in their franchise over their iterations. It's been a hot second, okay? So you've got Illumination, and now you've got DreamWorks thoroughly thrashing you, and we're just beginning the year. Like, what does Disney have coming out? Like Inside Out 2? Like, oh, okay, cool. That's your big tentpole release this year. Fantastic stuff, okay? Talking about Dune 2, I mentioned this before. It's like, okay, cool. All the hype in the first weekend, everybody's saying how beautiful it is, how well they spent the budget. Most of the quibbles were about some of the adaptations and from the book, and Zendaya being a cardboard cutout, but kind of expect that whenever a Zendaya gets cast. Like, what is she exceptional at? Like, everybody picks apart her looks for being a supermodel, and it's like, yeah, she's fine, but yeah, supermodel, I don't really know about that. And then when she gets all of these hand-picked roles in Hollywood, I look forward to, in about 20 years' time, after she hits another wall, the tell-all memoir of how she got into her situation, because it's not for talent. Anywho, I haven't heard anything about Dune 2. Nothing. Like, nobody's talking about this anymore. Not to say that that's bad or anything. Like, the people who've seen it to begin with said that it was very well made. They liked it a lot. Just, what's its staying power going to be? It's in second place. I got the numbers pulled up right here. Okay, here's the weekend numbers. Kung Fu Panda. Okay, $58.3 million. $46 million for for Dune Part 2. Then you have Imaginary, 10 million. You got the Webster down there pulling in $1.1 million. Like, yo, man, it's a wrap. And given the fact that it's still in 2,000 theaters on the weekend, pulling in $153, it's like, what are we doing? $300,000 on the weekend? Like, come on, man. There's a strong possibility this thing gets completely and totally shut out of theaters this week, and it doesn't crack $100 million. There's a better than not chance that that's what's going to happen. But breaking down the Dune Part 2 numbers, okay, just to show you that this is what we have right here. The $12.3 million Friday, the $19.8 million Saturday, and the $13.9 million Sunday, and a bunch of mid-7-digit weekdays. That's not bad. And then picked up theaters, it's pretty good. But the comparison that everybody was making was that to Oppenheimer. And, well, frankly, its first weekend, Dune Part 2, actually, in aggregate, it about the same. Like the 82.5 on the opening weekend compared to Oppenheimer's. Yeah, 82.4. So it's actually just, a box hair a little bit higher. And then the second weekend out, yeah, that's where, looks like Dune Part 2, is actually performing a little bit better. Yeah, a little bit better. Once again, about the same, but it just didn't have that benefit of an incredibly strong first week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, into the low, non-aggressive 8 digits. That's awfully impressive right there. So no, Dune Part 2, it's probably going to line up in that exact same spot that everybody thought. Okay, a lot of people were thinking in and around, capping out at around $700 million, which is fine off of a budget south of $200 million. Obviously, a third one's, if it hasn't already been greenlit. Haven't seen any news on that one, but one of the first big hurdles for 2024 with Dune is pretty much out of the way. We have our decent prognostications, unless, of course, there's some, second life that gets breathed into it. Is that the proper terminology? It doesn't sound grammatically correct, but whatever. It's not going to hit $1 billion, okay? Fu Panda, probably not going to hit $1 billion. The next one that's likely to come out is going to touch that. Probably Despicable Me 4, because the Minions spin-off, I think it cracked $1 billion. And then, of course, it's going to be very interesting. There's already all the built-in copo. It's R-rated. And there's nothing else to bolster it this summer with Deadpool and Wolverine. Disney's going to be marketing the hell out of that, and it's going to be very interesting to see. But kind of like the political landscape right now, even though, it's starting to heat up a little bit, very little bit. Hollywood so far, it's just been a bunch of disasters and a couple of little oases that are out there. But I think we're about to kick it up here in the next few weeks or so as spring officially rolls around. I think we're going to start heading into the crazy news cycle of 2024. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.